this was one of my favorite deals that we got done over the past few months. Well, we have a lot of competition on a lot of deals. Everybody's calling the same data. Everybody's on the same leads, right? So you got to distinguish yourself. You got to be different. The main thing that got us this deal is having more trust than anybody else that this lady was working with. This lady was working with one of the realtors that we referred to them. This lady was working with multiple other buyers. She had a brokerage that was helping her with the deal. Like, there were so many different hands in the pot and potential black swans, as we would call in sales, that could have screwed up the deal. But Brendan did such a good job of building trust all the way until the point of getting the contract signed. So Brendan follows up for 8 months straight, right? All of a sudden, she's ready to get the deal done. She's like, hey, Brendan, listen, I don't really want to list the property. I just want to get this thing done. I just got an opening at the apartment building that she's moving into, or the condo or whatever it was, and I need to sell my property in the next 30 days. So Brendan's like, all right, great, let's try to get this thing done. So Brendan's going back and forth and trying to get some numbers together to get her an offer. And it's the day that Brendan had set up to go over the offer and sign the contract and everything with this lady. This lady on the phone, Brendan literally has a set appointment, which, by the way, never just say, oh, okay, so, when do you want me to follow up? And all right, well, don't just leave it open-ended. Tell them, hey, I'm going to call you at 3 o'clock tomorrow. I just got an open space on my calendar for that time frame. Does 3 o'clock tomorrow work for you? That's like taking control, okay? You're a professional. You're busy. You got things going on. It's not just like, hey, yeah, you can call me back. That's an absolute no-no. We never let a prospect call us back. We're always the one that is to be in control. So you'll hear a lot of the times your sellers or prospects will say, hey, you know what? Let's just do this. I will just give you a call back next week sometime and let you know. All right, yeah, no problem. Well, why don't we do this? I have a pretty long schedule. I have a pretty booked up schedule. Why don't we do Wednesday at 5 o'clock? Does that work for you? Okay, cool. I'm going to give you a call Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Now you're back in control, right? So never just leave it up to them, because then you're out of control, right? And then you're trying to call them, they're not answering, and you lost it. So always stay in control. So Brendan set up a phone call appointment for the next day. And on this phone call appointment, this lady talks to a broker to look over the agreement after she finally verbally agreed. And before that, had a buyer walk into the property and give her an offer on spot. So Brendan's on the phone with her like, hey, Felicia, we're ready to get the deal done and da-da-da-da-da. Let's go over the agreement, get your email up and all that stuff. And she's like, hold on, 1 second. I'll be right back. Yo, I want to thank you for tuning into this clip from the Blueprint Podcast. If you did not catch the whole entire podcast, I need you to go back to the channel and look at the podcast that we dropped earlier this week. Let's get back to the clip. Leaves us on hold, but we can hear the phone. We can hear the conversation in the background. And we're listening. We're like, yo, is that another buyer at the property right now? And it was literally another buyer giving her an offer. Okay?
She went to the doorbell. She went to let him in.
Right, exactly. She goes to let this guy in, and the guy starts chatting, and he's explaining to her the valuations of the properties and not doing anything to concern her circumstances, right? Didn't ask any open-ended questions like, hey, what are you looking to accomplish here? And da-da-da-da-da. Homeboy just gets in there, and all he's talking about is himself. This is what I would have to do to the property, and this is what I am seeing in the market, and this is what I am doing, and this is what I am doing, this is what I am doing, right? Obviously, homeboy did not get the deal, but I got a treat for y'all. We're going to play some of this call. So in real time, you're going to hear this buyer that came in. By the way, if you're the buyer watching this or the potential buyer that we're about to play this recording, and you're watching this on YouTube right now, I need you to go to wholesalewithmike.com so you can learn sales. And I love you. Let me play this thing.
You have to get a professional buyer buying a corner of spring. Oh, so you got the home buyers, right? Yep, home buyers. Yep. So
can y'all hear that?
It's the other wholesaler who just rang the doorbell and came into the living room.
So for context, right? Brendan called this lady, was ready to go over the agreement and all that type of stuff. She stops him and says, hey, hold on 1 second. I got to answer the door. I have an appointment or whatever. And she literally intentionally set up an appointment with another buyer that she was talking to to try to like get us to negotiate or whatever she was trying to do. So this is now her. You got to listen very carefully, but it's now her and the other wholesaler in her living room hanging out. Hold on one second.
Yeah, quite a few 2 bedrooms from here to just all throughout Springfield, like literally at.
Can you guys hear that?
So we have an idea of like, when we're done with them, they're selling between 220 to 255. Okay,
So at this point in the conversation, all he has said, he got up to the doorbell. He got up to the door. He's like looking at the property and he's like, all right, well, this property is going to need a lot of work. It needs this, that, and the other. It needs $75,000 worth of repairs. And, we have done all these deals over the whole entire city. And, they're selling anywhere between this number and this number and this number and this number. And all he's talking about is like how much work he's going to have to do to the property. And at the end of the day, he's like, well, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go and run the numbers and da-da-da-da-da. And the lady's like, just sitting there. You could tell she's just kind of like tapping her feet like, all right, well, she ends up saying it. You'll hear it. She's like, well, how long is that going to take you guys?
Fixed up, flooring, windows, so on and so forth, and with all that. So you're selling for somewhere between that, depending on the area. And the exact, you got some features downstairs in the basement. So for a small property that could be an added feature in the home for somebody to pay a little extra. But you're going 225 to 255, for smaller 2. So y'all are home buyers, right? Yep, home buyers.
She had to ask. Wait, by the way, this is like 10 minutes into the appointment. And she had to ask, wait, y'all are home buyers, right? It's like, bro, what?
So we'll get in here, we'll, like I said, we'll close on it. You guys have your check that closing for you will. And we'll get in here and get guys, working on it right away. Obviously, we definitely repair the roof. We'll do some flooring and cosmetics. And then we'll look at the kitchen, bathroom, obviously. How much do you need cost-wise? No. Or how much off the top of the I think realistically,
So here's what happens. He starts talking, right? This is the sellers trying to take control of the conversation. And this is where us as salespeople need to regain control back. She's like, wait, y'all are home buyers, right? And he's like, oh yeah, we're home buyers. We're going to come in here and we're going to get a dumpster and we're going to do that. And we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And we're going to do that. And he never gets off of that subject. And he allows her to take back control, and she asks another question. The person who asks the question is the person who is in control in sales. Okay, so what this guy needs to do here is he needs to address it, and he can, he didn't do a bad job. Yeah, we're home buyers, so what we'll do is we'll come in here and we'll, put some love into the property and then either make it a rental or resell it. Let me ask, what are you really trying to accomplish here? Get it off of that and get back to the matter at hand, which is her and her circumstances, right? But this guy never does that, and he allows her to stay in control. Now she's the one asking the questions. There's a time for that, right? As we're going through the sales process and we're about to lock up a deal to make sure there's no gray areas and there's no questions. Hey, Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller, is there any questions that you have, any concerns, comments, or anything like that before we go ahead and move forward? Just so you can kind of air everything out. But you want to be the one that's asking the open-ended questions to get them to reveal what their circumstances are so that you can wrap up what their circumstances are in a package and solve the problem. And that's how you get a deal.